Okay, Sinadapi. Oki means my spirit is really happy to see your spirit. And Sinadapi in the Blackfoot language means, how are you doing? So this is Native Wellness, Native Wellness Institute. We're back on track. We're going across Canada. And our first entry into Canada is Jean Tagabon and I have flown up to Winnipeg to the Treaty 1, 2, 3, Ontario, Manitoba, badass Manitoba, badass Manitoba. Man, I think that would be a good song. You guys, I love Manitoba because, everybody here has been gracious, they've been kind, and they've just bent over backwards in sharing their culture. And so Native Wellness Institute we brought all of the traditional practitioners, all of the social workers, all of the addiction counselors. Hey, welcome! I see all, I'm not gonna do the comments. Nistu Nidaniko, Mokoyo Sukoi, that means my name is the Milky Way, or the Wolf's Trail, or the Medicine Trail. And so Jean Tagabon and I were brought up with our good friend who we're just going to bring on. We have a couple people, some surprise guests. Yoo-hoo! For surprise guests. We have surprise guests who are going to talk about healing in Winnipeg, Manitoba. But I wanted to start off before I asked Shelley to come over. And we asked Shelley because Shelley's been doing this work, about 30 years? Yeah, 30 plus. And then we have some youngsters here who've only been doing it for like 20 years, 5 years. One just walked in off the street, but we're going to interview her. Hey. There's a bunch of cool Indians here. So we wanted to just come to you live. It's Wellness Wednesday. And Wellness Wednesday, we try to stay positive, productive, and proactive. But here, it's very interesting because we're talking about recovering from all kinds of addictions, recovering from drugs and alcohol, recovering from opioids, recovering from methamphetamine, recovering from good-looking men, no snagging. All the brothers here, I said, don't be trying to snag on me because I'm already taken, okay? And I don't do that. I'm disciplined because of my sobriety. I only do one relationship at a time. I don't shop around. When I was sick in my addiction, I like that high where you have a whole bunch, you got 2 or 3 going, like juggling. That's called insanity. When you try to juggle 2 or 3 relationships, right, ladies? Ooh, and they're all ladies. This is cool. So I'll start with, before I have Shelley come on, I was thinking of Linda Woods. And Linda, I hope you're out there because I know you have 54 years of sobriety. Linda Woods is a veteran, and Linda Woods has Magigi. And the dialect up here for eagle is different. And in our language, it's pita. Like if it was eagle woman, it would be pitaki. Pita-aki means woman. But Magigi, I just was in a ceremony a couple of hours ago where our men and our women chose to go upstairs and get their pipe and to bring it down and to have a ceremony with the tobacco, with the smudge, with the food, and to pray for all of you out there. And the pipe ceremony was so healing. Like right now, I feel really settled, like really grounded. And so welcome to Wellness Wednesday. It's Native Wellness Institute. So Magigi, most of you know Nistu Kami Poismanix. I'm a woman's stand-up headdress with 21 golden eagle feathers headdress. I know that I'm just human, I'm nothing, but I know that headdress has power. But I seen today just where a single eagle feather had power. And It was used with the pipe, and it was used with blessing everyone in the room. And we were talking about forgiveness, grief and loss. Plus, we were just laughing. We just keep laughing. We're just like goofy, laughing about Indian stuff and Native stuff and First Nations stuff. But that Magiji, you know, when that feather, no matter how it gets tattered, all you have to do is put it in some water, straighten it out. And that's kind of like when us as human beings, when we're in our addiction, we're like all tattered. That feather's all tattered. But when you go to treatment and when you hang around other people that are sober, it's like you get dipped in the water. And this training here is like getting dipped in the water. And then you straighten out the eagle feather and you're new again. And it's not like, I don't want to be young again. I love my turkey neck. I love my wrinkles. I love my bushy eyebrows. And I can't get false eyelashes because I think a bird will land on them. Hey! So I'm going to invite our first guest, and I have just a short story. Shelly Sky is going to tell us what's going on here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Shelly had Native Wellness Institute come here in February 2020. And that was right a couple weeks before the pandemic. And when we were leaving, Shelly gave me a little bear, a little teddy bear with a little jersey that said Treaty 3. And I had that little bear, and I was working on some deep inner child work. And so I decided to have that bear be symbolic. And so everywhere I went, I brought that bear. It has its own blanket. I roll it up. I sleep with it. I smudge it. I put it by my sacred stuff. And but through this traveling, the bear has lost one eye. It smiles kind of like this, you know, because it's a little bit tattered. But I thought, it's just beautiful bear. It's just like how we are. We might be tattered, but we're still beautiful when we come back to life and we come back to sobriety and we come back to ourselves. So I brought my bear and I showed it to Shelly just when we arrived. But I have it upstairs and or I have it in the room, and I wrapped it in a blanket because I think it's time it got retired. Or I get a new bear. And so anyway, that's just because I'm a new person. And you know how like when you're a child, when you have something sacred toy, you have it for a while, it's time to get a new sacred toy. And so I just want to share that story with you. But I want to invite Shelly Sky, come over here and tell us what's happening in Winnipeg and who is here.
Oh, good to see you all.
They all look beautiful like this. Okay, tell us who you are.
Bonjour, Kishkanda go kwe and dishna cause wapcheshi and dora and bejago madewin. Ojibwe nishnabe kwe and dao. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shelly Sky. I'm Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, Potawatomi. I'm originally from the Great Lakes. That's where I was born. That's where my ancestors come from. But I work here in Treaty 3. Right now we're in Treaty 1 territory, but I work with Treaty 3 communities, and there's 28 of us, 28 communities within that territory. And they're on the Lake of the Woods. Beautiful, beautiful Lake of the Woods. So enriched with moose and deer and fish, and those eagles are very plentiful in the area. It's such a blessing and beautiful. And the wild rice, I can't forget that.
Ooh,
that's one
yes.
of our main staples, and we use that often. So today, in the last couple of days, we came together. I gathered all of these people that are doing hard work. And that's how I see them. They're out there in the communities doing that frontline work in recovery and healing and trauma, grief, loss, addictions, abuse, all of those things that are there, they're working with. And they all have such a powerful, powerful gift, and that gift is hope. And when we brought them together, it was like renewing that hope amongst themselves. to continue that work that's so important in our communities. And for me, it rings true for me as a person, as an individual, as an Anishinaabe, as a grandmother. This work is so important. As a young girl, I grew up in addiction in my family. I grew up with abuse, violence. And at that time, it was very hard. I took my first drink when I was 10 years old. And I got into drugs when I was 12. So I started very, very young in age. But I decided in my teens that I need to do something different for myself in my life. And a blessing came to me, and that was my daughter. And that blessing saved me. She showed me that there could be change in this world, in this life for Anishinaabe, for our people. And with her arrival, I made a change in my life to do something different and to live a life without alcohol, to live a life without violence, to live a life without those things that I endured during my childhood. I went on to do my education in social work, and that's my background in social work. But I want to tell you, in my experience over the last 30 years, that's not where the healing came from. It wasn't from that formal education that I got. It was from the ceremonies. It was from reclaiming who we were, our identities, our language, our gathering, all of those things that our ancestors held on to for us. And that's where I've seen the real healing come from in my own personal experience in the work that I've been doing. And like I said, I refer to these workers that have come together as heart workers, and they're doing a lot of that work. In Treaty 3, they're so rich in ceremony, so rich in language, and they're so rich in all of that. And I think that when they come together, it's so powerful and so needed. And so it's good for them to come together and do that and to talk about those things that they're experiencing, those things that they may still be holding on to, so that they can renew themselves in their energy to do the work that they need to do. And so it was such a beautiful thing to see them come together and to be able to share and talk and learn from one another, but also to work with Theda and Jean, who've also been there for many, many years doing this work. So I can't be any more appreciative of everybody that was in the room and that participated, and for again being with Theda and Jean. So miigwech.
Well, before you go, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Yesterday we did a rope exercise.
Yes.
Tell me what you saw there and what you learned.
That was so amazing. In all my years of work, I've never seen anything like that. And it was really, I saw it as a time of trust for that individual, but also in the group, as a group. Can we do this? Can we support this person? Can we help her? And for her, it was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm scared. I have fear. But she trusted in that group, and she got up on that rope and she did that walk with encouragement from everybody in the room, including myself as Kokum, to do that walk. And she did it. We were so excited, and I was so happy for her, but I couldn't believe that we actually did it as a group. It's amazing what you can do when you come together. Numbers, it's always equal strength. We always got to stay together, connected, to breathe that strength for those ones that need that support.
Thank you, Shelley.
Give you
a hug. As you can see, and we have 3 more guests to share with us what their healing experience has been. Yeah, this is so cool. Wellness Wednesday. And we just had the description, sister, she kept saying, but I weigh this many pounds. But she was having all these doubts. And they just grabbed her arm, and she used people's head for balance. I mean, like, people were saying, use my head. It's physical support when someone is trying to grow and to be a better person and to come into their own. They need to have safety nets and support around them. Now, this next sister, she's a badass. And I say that just because I could feel her energy of healing. And her and I were just talking together about the power of the Sweat Lodge for First Nations people. So, sister, come and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Abuju, Shababanese Koinishkajit Makwatotan. And in English, my name is Circling Thunderbird Woman, and my clan is the Bear Clan. And I always have to share that when I say my name, it means that when this Thunderbird circles above the clouds, when she looks down, everything is transparent. And then when she goes through the clouds, she becomes transparent herself, but still is able to go everywhere and be transparent. And with my recovery, that's how I choose to try to be. I live my truth to the best of my ability every day. I still struggle a lot because I think it's just under 4 years that I've been sober and on my journey. And I can say that ceremony, Sweat Lodge, being able to do fall feasts and sharing circles and reaching out to my community, no matter what that looks like and where it looks like, whether or not it's 5:30 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, I do my best to give back what's been given to me. And I also sit with an elder in ceremony. We do ceremonies together, which is a Sweat Lodge, where we both sit in to bring that balance. Because in life, we all need that balance to be able, we have the good with the bad, the evil with the... With that too, I also like to say that you can't have love without hate. You can't have beauty without ugliness. And that's where that balance comes in. I've struggled probably 75% of my life with addictions. But I got just under 4 years now, and I've never felt so good.
We celebrate
Yes,
you.
I do.
For that.
That actually just makes me emotional thinking about that. Like, to say that the first time in my life I've been sober over 3.5 years, whereas I've never said even 9 months. And the only reason why I said 9 months before was because I was pregnant. Because I believe that I had a choice, my children didn't. And to this day, I got two mini-me's, I would say. I got a 23-year-old son and a 20-year-old daughter who just have my personality, my smart mouth, my witty attitude, I don't know what to say about that, but just get out of my way if I'm mad. Just stay away. But with this last 2 days at this seminar, especially today, this morning, it opened my eyes to so much of the pain and the stuff that I've gone through. To be able to see that, you know what, I'm not the only one. And for me to go through all the stuff I've gone through in my life, it's just brought me here today. It made me who I am today. I'm a stronger person. I'm a more understanding. I'm more tolerant. I'm more accepting of everybody around me. I don't care if you're 2 feet tall and green or 10 feet and orange. My heart is still going to go into your healing. Whether or not you're ready to do it today, whether or not you're ready to do it tomorrow, I will be there. If you're still in your active use and not ready to take that step, I will still be there to love and support you for when you are ready to take that journey on. And I could talk for hours and hours about
Well,
recovery.
let me ask you this, and I'll just get in frame with you, because I want to ask, in the lower 48, the Sweat Lodge is the greatest tool to heal and to let go. And I listened to you earlier because, I call her a badass, and I mean that because she is compassionate, fierce in healing. Can you describe, what's a Sweat Lodge like here? You went to a sweat last night. Please describe, because we have some of our allies, we call them allies, and our friends out there. They have their ways, but this is cross-sharing. We want to share what other Indigenous, First Nations, what other tribes do. What is the Sweat Lodge like here? And how was it last night at the Sweat?
Well, the sweat I went to last night was for myself. We had requested a conductor that do one for us that comes usually to the Kenora area, which actually is the north shore of the Lake of the Woods, which is kind of bordering in Canada and in the States. So if you look north, up the northern states, you'll see that Lake of the Woods borders that. But with the Sweat Lodge last night, as I said, I went in there for my own healing because I sit with an elder who we both do ceremonies together that heal other people. We start to introduce people into the culture where they go into a sweat lodge for their own healing, where they're able to leave their negativity, scream their lungs, scream all their rage out, let go of their hurt. Whether or not they let go and leave it there, but at least we've introduced them to that way of life where you're connected to your spirit. You can get your traditional name and just other ways well, I kind of jump around here a little bit. But with my personal healing, I went back to my ceremonies. I had stepped away from them for a good 15 to 20 years. I lost connection with my spirit. But going back into those lodges and having the opportunity to sit with the person I sit with, I believe that my connection has gotten strong enough where it seems to seep out onto the people around me. And a lot of these people that we have introduced to ceremony still come whenever they have the chance to, which is usually weekly. And when we go into the sweats, it's usually the conductor who will go in first, and he'll sit at the east door. Then usually I will go in first. The women will follow in behind me, and the men afterwards. And the reason why that there's two of us that sit and conduct this sweat lodge is because the male and the female own the sweat lodge. And it's that balance that we believe, or we have that belief that it helps the people around us. And it seems, I'm not going to say we're powerful individuals because we're only conductors. We're only messengers. We don't have any say about what happens in the sweat or what goes on. But with our connection, it gets out to everybody else. And as I said, with the sweat last night, it was for myself. Because most of the time when I go into a ceremony with the elder I work with, it's for everybody else. I'm in there to take that negativity. I'm in there to absorb the bad stuff that everybody else is trying to get rid of. So that way I can take it and I can leave it. But there are times when I need healing myself. Because I'm only as strong as my ceremony. So last night we had asked the conductor here in Manitoba, Rosa River, I believe that's Treaty 1 area still, but it's here just south of the city, about an hour and a half of Winnipeg. So we went into this sweat, and I went into the sweat without any of my items or anything but just myself. And I did that because there are times that I need to get rid of all that negativity that I carry. A lot of times I get a lot of pain in my back and in my shoulders because of the stuff I carry. Because I also don't want somebody else's energy to be onto anybody else. I actually wear an obsidian bracelet all the time to help me with my energy. Because my energy goes out to everybody. I know I have a powerful energy. And I got to keep some of that for myself, my strength.
Yes.
And that's the reason why I wear the obsidian all the time. I never take it off.
Yes.
And when I do my smudge, my cleanse, I will cleanse my obsidian just to give it that cleaning and that rejuvenation to keep my power, some of my power. I have no problem giving mine out, but I only have so much and I do get tired.
Yes, yes.
You
So,
got you. I just feel just shaky. I'm almost nervous.
no, you did wonderful.
You got
You
you.
did wonderful. As you can see, we have 27 healers here, and they're traditional practitioners. And I was just seeing sisters. We call these. They're like bracelets that own a Big Bowl makes, like a Nanamska. I always wear this because it has a rock in it that's takes in energy. Same way, and I'll smudge it just like Sister was saying. And then before I invite our next guest up in a couple of minutes, for today I have a thunder rock. It's created by lightning bolts. And in the lower 48, and I'm not sure where you find thunder rocks in this area, but I know you have them. Wherever you have thunder. My brother Ira, Yellow Paint Buffalo, him and his wife, Minnie, they were out and they found several of these perfectly shaped thunder rocks that are created. And I usually don't, I think I've never brought this out, but I'm bringing this out because today when I woke up, I wanted to be a conduit, like Sister was saying, but I wanted to help people to whatever they needed to see. It's not telling, it's a conduit to healing. So sometimes I'll carry it in my pocket and I'll just talk to it telepathically. Like today I was just saying, please help everyone in our circle heal. Please let everyone in our circle have a long, healthy life. Please let everyone in our circle love unconditionally all of their family. Please let everyone in our circle have a really good rest of the year during this. You know, we're by this. I'm going to take down this tree and make it into medicine. I'm going to throw that red flag, that little red thing away, and I'm going to chop it up, and I'm going to put it on some sweat law. We see medicine. I said, I'm gonna take that medicine. No, but this rock, I just wanted to, like, sister, there's many things. How many of you out there have, like, when we're children, we all collect rocks. I still collect rocks. And I still go, oh, what a pretty rock. And I put down some asema, some pistascon, some tobacco, and I ask the rock permission if I can take it. And sometimes, it's telepathically says, no, I want to stay here. And then I say, okay, can I just touch you? And then I always touch that rock, and I say something that I need to let go. I said, can I give you this rock? Can I give you, because I got really mad at someone, and I don't want to carry that anger between us. Can I give it to you and then not carry it? I give it to you. So that's how powerful natus okotoks, holy rocks, are. So I just wanted to say that because I really liked what little sister said, that she never takes that off. She never takes that black obsidian, because it takes. And so what are your boundaries? Native Wellness Institute, we always ask you every week, how are you taking care of yourself? What are your boundaries? I say over and over, my sleep hygiene is my highest. I have to sleep 8 hours to feel good. So I make sure that I go to bed on time. And here, last night, I think I got about 7 hours. We're on a different time zone. But I really felt safe here. And the reason I think is because it's just us First Nations here. And then we have Ukrainian refugees staying with us at this hotel. And they're just families. There's new babies, there's children, and they're helping. Canada is helping them with mental health, with physical health, with emotional health, with spiritual health. And they're in the room next door. And so I just wanted to say it's just a beautiful when one country helps another country. So I'm going to invite our next guest, who is going to come. And when I first seen her, I was like, yippee, yippee. I saw this sassy, young, content spirit. And she came in with a flowing ribbon skirt. And I go, right on, when I see young people coming. So come on over and introduce yourself.
Bonjour. Hi, my name is Destiny. I am from Rainy River First Nations. I am a Bear Clan. In my community, we live beside the river, and it's huge and beautiful, and it's just a really good place to go sit by and just get all your hurt out. Go down there and pray. It's just a good place to be, and it's just so relaxing, and I'm so thankful for where I come from to have that area. Yeah, I'm not really too sure what to say.
Oh, we were. Let me ask you a couple questions. Mm-hmm. You came over to the table, and we were just having lunch. Mm-hmm. We'll both get into the frame here for a minute. And we were just eating lunch, and Destiny asked me. She said, "How do you get into doing this kind of work?" So I described to her, what the kinds of experiences and teachers that I had that were hard-nosed on me. They recorded me on a video. They made me write a script. Mm-hmm. They made me write performance objectives. And I didn't like them, but they taught me how to be disciplined with eye contact. Mm-hmm. And so then I said, okay, Destiny, I want you to come on the Power Hour. Because just not only look at this spirit, but let me ask you this, Destiny. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Talk to them.
Well, in 5 years, I could only hope to just be helping people who also had a rough time growing up and just who struggle at this age, because I know at this age it's very scary and intimidating. Like, you don't really know what you want to do with your life still. You're so young and like you don't want to mess up, but I don't know, I'm still learning. I know I want to help people and make people feel more confident, especially like people from communities like reserves. Like, they just don't really get as much as an advantage as a lot of other people do, and I want to be someone who will cheer them on. And just hearing Theda talk was just amazing. It was a really big eye-opener, and she's someone that I look up to now, and I'm so thankful that I met, because man, I want to be someone like her. It's cool.
So tell us where you work at the detox. Describe that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So I work at Kishkanagowakwe in Fort Francis. That is a treatment center / detox center, and I am a peer support worker in the detox area. Yeah, I get to work with all sorts of people and hear their stories and just support them and make them feel like, well, help them feel not alone and like they're a person. Like, I don't want to treat them like they're not a person, and I give them love because that's what they need in that time.
Can you think of one story, and you don't need to use the names? Did you have to walk them? Did you have to cry with them? Think of one. Share a story with us.
I'm not too sure. Like, it's just, some of them are just, I feel like I can't really do that because it's just, they told me just to me, and I feel like I have to kind of keep that
sacred
to me.
Okay.
And,
That's perfect. So then, do you have children yet?
I do. I have.
Tell us about your children. Yeah.
I have 2 children. I have a son. He's 2 years old, and I have a daughter. She's 4. They are beautiful, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. I'm so thankful that the Creator blessed me with them. Like, I can get emotional talking about them. Like,
Of course. Yeah, of course. Do you have a partner?
no, I am divorced. But my father, my children, he's amazing. He supports me 100%, and he's just always there to cheer me on. We didn't work out, but like I said, he's just always there to cheer me on, to help me out. He was my rock during my recovery also, because he was the main parent while I had to get help and go on my healing journey, and I'm so thankful for him.
Okay, let me give you a hug. No, thank you so much.
Miigwech for listening.
She's going to be the badass auntie of the future. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We have possibly one more guest that we could check on to see if she's coming back. And so Native Wellness Institute, Gene Tagabon, he's in the other room. It is 2:32 here p.m. And so we're just winding down on our second day. It's a recovery and aftercare training. But I wanted to, I was thinking about little sister working in a detox. And, you know, when I went to treatment, and this is 1988, we were alcoholics and we were heroin addicts, and there weren't, people used Valium and stuff like that, but there wasn't these fancy pharmaceutical drugs. But I remember our detox, because we were a social detox. And while I was there in the treatment, they asked me to stay longer, and I knew I really wanted to stay sober, so I said yes. I didn't care. I was so willing, I stayed there. But I remember Jeanette, and this is, 1988, and she was coming down off of heroin. In a social detox, what we do is we take them by the arm, and we had a long driveway. We'd take turns just taking her by the arm and talking to her. There was talk therapy. Talking to her how she felt, talking to how she was doing. We talked her, and this happened because even if she wasn't sleeping good, she would come and get one of us and would walk her. Because you need to not be sitting, you need to be moving, you need to be drinking a lot of water, you need to be sleeping when you can sleep. And I just remember social detoxing, and it took about 2 weeks for her to social detox from heroin. And so think about that now if you know someone on opioids, or you know someone on Oxycontin, or you know someone on other, that grace period of being kind. It's lateral kindness while they're detoxing. And so if you know they're coming down, tell them you love them, make them soup, give them comfortable pajamas. Don't don't persecute them. Don't rescue them. Don't, get in that toxic, enabling environment. And so I just wanted to say that much, because I just now when someone tells me they have, short time, when they don't have much time, I just like to walk with them. Like, come on, let's go for a walk. And if it's not blizzarding or 40 below or whatever, we just go out and we walk. And so remember, Native Wellness Institute, we're encouraging you to keep moving. Remember, we said that's why Indians have flat butts, eh? Because we sit too much, eh? And if we hold in our feelings, that's why. Do you ever see like some men holding their feelings and they got little tiny butts? Anyway, that's from holding it. We don't want you to hold in your feelings. We want you just to be out there. Well, we have one more guest, and this is our healing team. We've been intense for 2 days, and so we've invited our next guest, and Crow Shoes, huh? Okay, so we have some relatives in common, so I'm gonna come introduce yourself.
Okay, hello. My name is Nawe Kamegok Digo, Zongate Shiken Digo Etik Tutem, Nanga Shing Nadunji. My English name is Pamela Big George, and I come from Lake of the Woods, the southern part in Ontario, Manitoba, and the States. We're right on the corner, on the very bottom. Anyways, for me, what did you want me to?
What kind of healing have you seen here for yourself?
At this community, this is what I call them, as community conversations, because there's a whole bunch of us that are coming from different nations, and we're learning from one another. And what I saw is a lot of connection. We actually thought about a lot of the same things, except we stated it differently. We all have unique ideas about how things are happening in our community, but they're actually a lot of the same thing. It's also coming together. You can feel the love, the kindness. I really appreciate a lot of the men and the women that came together, because it's tough work. And a lot of us still have a lot of healing to do. So for myself, I've been working on this since I was 15. That's a long time.
Tell us about that.
Well, because I came from a very troubled background. I went to residential school. I was a kid in care. So I had a lot of attachment issues. I wasn't close to people, my parents, my family. I was really close to my family, though. My brothers and my sisters, we were close like this. My parents had addiction issues. Yeah. But when I was 15, I went to treatment.
Wow.
My very first time I went to treatment. And there I started to get this idea. Well, I sent myself there. I knew I didn't want to live like that. I was so angry all the time.
Yes.
So I wanted to heal that. I was spending so much energy being mad, fighting people, and I didn't want to be like that anymore. So that's why I wanted to heal. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to school. I want to be a psychologist. But then I ended up not going. I did take psychology, but I ended up being in social work.
Yes.
And right now I'm going to school to be an addictions counselor.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm almost done. So I'm looking for a job. Hello. Yeah.
So tell us, do you have children?
I do.
You look like a badass auntie. So are you an auntie? Tell us more about your family.
I have 2 grown sons. I was a single mom. I raised both my boys with the help of my family.
Wow.
Yeah. They helped me when I was going to school, to university. My mom was really great. She looked after my boy. And I got married when I was 50.
Wow.
I actually never
beautiful.
thought that I was going to ever. I always thought I'm going to be single all my life because I didn't really want to be with anybody. But then I met somebody, and I think part of it was because I started to love myself.
Oh.
So if you can't love yourself, you're not going to be good to anybody else, right? You're not.
Yes.
So I'm loving everybody. So love you out there.
Let me give you a hug.
Thank you.
Now, if you look at her, she looks like she's 39, right? And she says she got married when she's 50?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one more question. How did you two meet? Just describe, because like a lot of us, now that the pandemic's over, we're dating, we're exploring, we're going out, even with someone that we lived with for a long time. How did you two meet, or how did you know it was love?
I think for me, we met through a mutual friend at work because we were both workaholics.
Oh.
I worked a lot, and he did too. And she says, I think you guys are going to hit it off. And we did. I used to go to bed at 9 o'clock. After I go home, I'd be going to bed at 9. And then we went on a date, a coffee date. And he brought me back at 9. And then after that, he'd bring me back at 10. And all of a sudden, 11. But he was a perfect gentleman. And that's what I loved. And he really accepted my boys, even though they are grown. That's the thing that kept me from being with somebody, because I needed somebody to accept my kids too, even though they're grown.
Yes.
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 That's it.
Ooh. And so when you were on those coffee dates, did you look into each other's eyes?
He was looking somewhere. He's like, hello, Pams. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. As you can see, sister has that same sense of humor, so I'm going to give her a hug.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And so welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We had some guests, and if any of our other two guests want to come and say some closing comments, just come and stand next to me. We're at Winnipeg, Manitoba. And we have Treaty 1, we have a lot from Ontario, we have a lot of the First Nations here, and they're all just primo treatment and aftercare. They're setting up, and they do it culturally. There is 12-step, and a lot of our group, one of our group members talked about, he said that his second language was French, and he wished his second language was his own language, and he's working on that. So we're going to have a couple closing comments, and in our room we have all these silhouettes of women wearing red, so that we could bring awareness for the justice to Indian women, and the justice of how Indian women are treated by the police or by the systems. And so I'm going to ask my sisters just to share a little bit of closing thoughts. So what you can do, light a smudge. One of our participants had it said smudge, not judge. And so I woke up this morning and I wasn't quite awake. I was just ending my dream, and I was saying, smudge, not judge. Smudge. I was like, smudge, not judge. And I go, I better get smudge, not judge. Smudge, not. It's like, it could be like a song. We could get it going. But what kind of closing comments do you have would you like to say to our audience out there?
Bonjour again, it's Shabab Benesekwe. My closing comment is, when she had talked about the justice system and Native women, or not just Indigenous people in general, I have a civil suit going against the Ontario Provincial Police and an officer himself. And just going through that motion of having to go through the affidavit, I was re-traumatized. And at that point, I had a partner who was with me. I was in my room, I was crying, I was screaming into my pillow. And he walked in right at that perfect time and he put his arms around me and he told me, he goes, don't let this define you. And those are the words I needed to hear right then and there, because when I was in that room screaming and crying into my pillow, I thought to myself, this is the point where most people will break and fall back into their addiction. They'll give up. But hearing those words, don't let this define you, if I would have went back and chose to go back to my addiction, that would have defined who I was. But I made that choice to keep moving forward with the pain, the grief, and everything like that. And especially this morning, listening to Theda and John speak, it made so much sense that, you know what, I have to go through all this. I have to go through this civil suit. I have to do all this. So maybe my story will bring strength to that person to step up and say, hey, this happened to me. Listen to me. And a lot of times I've gone through that fear for the first couple of years, that missing murdered Indigenous women. I was afraid of that. I was afraid to the point where I wouldn't go outside by myself because that constantly went through my mind, because I'm going up against a police force, the government of Canada, and I'm terrified. But if I let that fear define who I am, I wouldn't be standing here saying, you know what, everybody has it inside themselves to stand up and say, no, I'm better than that. I can do this. And just in closing, I will do this.
Woohoo!
And I'm just so happy to be here. I can feel Theda's energy just kind of radiating off me right now, and it's giving me goosebumps. But with all that, with all this stuff that I've gone through in my life, all the traumas, all the trials, all the obstacles, I use my life is a roller coaster. I have ups and downs. I don't let any of that define me, because as long as my ups and downs, I keep going forward, keep on track, I'll be okay. And my gut may turn, I may throw up over the side, but I'm still going that way. With my head held high and a smile on my face.
Wow! With her head held high and a smile on her face. Well, we have one more closing comment. Come on. Destiny, what you got to say with our audience?
Destiny again. I just wanted to give a quick thanks to Theda and Jean again. I also wanted to give thanks to my friends and family who have been with me throughout this journey that's been just crazy and intense, and just always staying by me. I'm so thankful for you, and I just also want to say thank you to my workplace, because they took that chance on me. They saw potential on me, and they just see me as another human being. They didn't see me as, you know, someone who's been through trauma, who's been to treatment at such a young age. Like, I am still in recovery. I am still new at it, and I'm proud to say that. And I want everybody who is also like new at recovery to be proud of it, and don't be scared to say that. Just, you're awesome, and keep going. Miigwech.
Well, welcome to Native Wellness Institute's Wellness Wednesday. Our three sisters here. I just want to give some comment. As I was standing here and I could feel their energy, and I was just saying, I was looking into them as they were expressing themselves, and I was saying prayers, and that energy, you know, we're smudging here. We had one of our brothers brought down his pipe, and we had a ceremony, and Native Wellness Institute is sending out the prayers to you, because we're in a season now where we might get triggered, or things might happen with, you know, to have a good holiday season. Just remember, you are in charge of your holiday season. You are driving the bus, as Jean Tagabon would say. You are driving which direction. I like how Sister said the ups and downs. You might even throw up on the side, and then, but you just keep going. You are in charge of your destiny. And so I just, you might decorate. You might, I still go out. I have Bigfoot sweet pine trees, and Bigfoot likes big decorations. So I put some decorations out there for Emoyi Tapi. How do you say Bigfoot in your language? Sabe. Up here, the Sabes. I seen one running down the street. Hey, the Sabes. I just love that word. It just feels so magic, that ability to go in and out of dimensions. So as you're defining, just a couple closing comments is, if you don't have the resources of giving, humongously expensive presents, write a letter. Last week we talked about write a letter or write a note, get a bouquet of flowers, give something that's symbolic to you. One of my Amber from the Baltic Sea, this is one of the best gifts I've ever gotten, and I just wear it each day, and I just think, just to hold it. Go and, I saw one of my friends took some rocks and painted the rocks, and painted friend, painted ally, painted words on it, and gave those as gifts. So think about a gift of your time, your gift of time of listening to someone, and make it a season that's festive for you. Dress up, wear a little bit of bling bling, get something sparkly. We just took a group photo, and everybody was genuflecting, and someone was going to lay down in front and pose. We got together because we all helped each other heal, and it's nothing singular. It's all in communion. And so communion, where it's a community that we've brought together from one country in Canada and from the lower 48, we've come together with Native Wellness Institute. So think about that. You're in charge of your season until December 21st, the solstice. You are in charge. I was just, cleaning medicine today. I didn't bring it, but one of the men gave me a knife that he carried for 16 years. He butchered. He gave me this knife, and he had used it so much that the leather casing, I just love it. So I gifted him back an obsidian. There's all this gift giving. So I just want to say thank you very much. This is Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. And so we'll see you next Wednesday. Kitakito Matsu.